Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Bommer LB4310-400-633 4x4 single acting spring hinge in a satin brass finish. So the LB4310 is a common spring hinge in that it's 4x4 and it's a template pattern on the screw holes. So this is going to be for a lot very typical and generic applications, not for specific door systems, but for those that just have what's called an ANSI template pattern for the screw holes, which is extremely common. Although you'll want to check because Bommer has a full complement of spring hinges made for all of those different screw patterns, most that I'm aware of. Anyway, the LB stands for the lube bearing. It's a maintenance-free sort of feature that Bommer has regarding their hinges. The 4310 is representative of the fact that this is a single acting spring hinge, full mortise style hinge. You can see that from the swag on the hinge leaves there that this is intended to be mortised to the door and frame. There's the hinge swag. You can see the leaves are offset. The -400 stands for the size, and that means that it's 4 inches high, and that's the first dimension in a hinge like this, and 4 inches wide. Okay, and the finish 633 means satin brass. Available in several different finishes from Bommer. Below this video is, in the extended description, a guide in terms of quantity of hinges and door size and weight. There's also a link to the template, and you can review all of the dimensions important about the hinge. I won't beleaguer them here because the template is for your review. Installation instructions, they also come on the back of the box that the hinge is going to come in, generally, and if you don't get those, well, then you've got them there. Quantity of hinges, generally you're dealing with doors up to 3070 only. Okay, if you've got a door that's about 85 pounds, 2 spring hinges would be a good idea. And up to 110 pounds, you're going to be about 3 spring hinges. The pivoting axis is compatible with mixing and matching between this and a standard 4x4 hinge, so you can do that. However, regarding spring hinges, I'm a fan of all spring hinges on a door for a couple of reasons. First of all, they're inexpensive, so it's not a significant issue in terms of that. But I like all spring hinges because I have found when setting the tension on spring hinges, and we'll get to those instructions in a moment, that you've got better control and a better success rate of the door actually closing, but also latching. Because with a lower amount of spring hinges, you're going to be asking each hinge to do more of the work, particularly the top hinge. And I have found that sometimes I've got to set the tension so high when I've got only 1 spring hinge on a door when I should have 2, or 2 when I should have 3, that I've got to get that door, that spring cranked up so high so I can really get the door moving through the cycle, and sometimes it has to speed up so much to overcome the inherent friction of a door, wind, air pressure, etc., and the friction of the latch when the door goes to close, that sometimes it slams to the point where it even bounces back open, and that's not a good thing. I have found with all the spring hinges on a door that you get a greater amount of, let's call it torque, like a tugboat. Doesn't go very fast but can pull a heavy load. And when you've got more of the springs doing the job, you don't have to crank any one of them up excessively to get it to continue to close through that cycle. That's just what I have found. You're going to get with this all wood screws and all metal screws in a complementary finish. It'd be like a 1032 screw in there, I'm thinking. You're also going to get a tension rod, which is that black piece of steel, and then those 2 silver pins. You only need 1 of those, and they're called tension pins, but there's 2 because on this order there are 2 hinges. You basically insert your tension rod into the tension collar, into one of those holes. Okay, so it looks like that. Then you rotate it clockwise, only clockwise when the tension collar is up, and as you do that, you reveal additional holes, and it's into one of those holes that you're going to insert a tension pin, and that will keep the tension set on the spring. This is non-handed. It can work for left-hand doors. It can work for right-hand doors. Tension collar goes up. This is 185 thousandths to 109 thousandths thick mortise thickness compatible. This is going to be closer to 109 thousandths. but will work in those ranges. Residential applications such as where this is generally going to be going are not, are tolerant of a hinge being off, almost 20 thousandths of an inch, or more than 20 thousandths of an inch, which is less than a 32nd of an inch. Square corner, as you can see, steel base hinge. Pardon me, those screws were 1024, not 1032. Forgive me, that's a 1024 thread. Last thing I'd like to point out to you is the Bommer logo that's on there. And right above the Bommer logo, you can see that. Let's try it again. It says Made in USA, a fact that Bommer is quite proud of, as am I to represent them. Very good quality product, real good quality customer service standing behind it. If you have any questions on the Bommer LB4310-400-633 single acting full mortise spring hinge or any other Bommer product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.